All right, let's learn how to do magnets on a Firstborn Marine. So as an example here, I have a sergeant, some fully painted arms, but of course his body isn't painted, but that's because these are magnetic. You can cross magnetize, so if you want to do some chaos, you know, put the wrong arms and whatever. I mean, it's still friendly like that. So I see a lot of people where they'll try to put the magnet like in the wrist. Personally, I don't recommend that. I think it makes a lot more sense to put it in the arm socket. It kind of almost makes the whole model more like an action figure. You can have different poses, you know, you can have the guy holding his gun up like this, or you can have him holding it at the rest, you know, whereas I feel like if you had your arms fixed and you magnetized at the wrist, I feel like you get like, you know, the guy would be like holding his gun like sideways, you know, like ghetto style, so to speak. So I think this is a better way to do it. So I'm going to show you how. And then just one other thing is I recommend this for sergeants and characters and models like that. I would not recommend it for something like heavy weapons. This, I mean, like, just glue it in. If you want a different heavy weapon, make another model. But for sergeants and characters and whatnot, super useful because, I mean, I got all kinds of pieces here. I mean, maybe I want a thunder hammer on him, you know, or maybe I want a chainsword. Maybe I want a lightning claw. All kinds of options. So it's really easy to do. The tools you will need are all out here. So we're going to be using this is a stack of magnets here. We're going to be using, these are circular magnets, neodymium, 3mm diameter, 1mm thickness. These are the same magnets I use on my Tau stuff. I've been buying them forever. Yeah, you can get like 100 of them on eBay for like 10 bucks. So we have our magnets, measuring tool, a pin, 3mm drill bit, glue. This is our workpiece today, actually, is this captain torso with a cape. And then this is our magnet installation tool. It's one of the most important things about installing magnets is you got to be cognizant of the polarity. But you'll figure that out pretty quickly. You want all the magnets to all be installed with the same polarity everywhere. So the easiest way to do that is after I drill the hole here, I'm going to take one of the magnets right here, put it on this thing. We're actually going to use this Space Marine Lightning Claw arm to install the magnet into the hole, guaranteeing correct polarity of the magnet. Alright, so you have this, there we go. You have this arm socket kind of area, right? All the Firstborn Marine models, they have this, you know, where there's this raised area. And furthermore, the mold line, or I shouldn't say the mold line, but the assembly line, when you put the two pieces together, you can see it right there. Now that's really handy because that is that's the center line on this axis, so it makes the measuring a lot easier. So really the only thing we need to do, because we want to get the magnet centered in the arm socket, so we're just going to measure this real quick. Comes out at about 5mm, just about, just a little, 4.5. So we're going to use this pin here to make a little marker hole. So 4.5, so probably, yeah, like somewhere between like 2.5, 2.25 millimeters here. Alright. Sorry I had to do that off camera real quick just to really make sure I got it lined up right. But basically I just kind of held this ruler up, took the pin, and I stuck this little hole right there. So that's about the center. Alright. So maybe we'll make it just a pinch wider. And by the way, before doing this, make sure that the two parts of the torso, that when you glued it together, make sure that was at least 24 hours ago, because otherwise the glue won't be fully dry and the drill bit will literally drive the two pieces apart and then it'll be a mess. So make sure your glue is totally dry. Got our 3mm drill bit here. I'm going to try to get it onto that pilot hole, if it can be called that. In fact, that's so hard to do, I'm actually going to grab a smaller drill bit. Yeah, this one's fine. Just something a little bit smaller to get it started. Brush the dust away. Alright, that should hopefully be enough for this thing. Make sure I get it started right. Yeah, and if you have one of those things that can hold a drill bit, good for you. I have one of those, but it doesn't hold this drill bit. So I just do it by hand. I mean, but plastic is soft. Alright, we've been drilling that a little bit here. Got it started pretty good. Now, you don't want to drill all the way through. You don't want to do that. Remember, these magnets are only 1mm thick. You don't want the magnet to be sunken deep in the piece, because you want everything to be flush and nice. So just as you get closer to 1mm of depth, you want to get to the point where you start testing it. And so I just take the whole stack, and as you can see, it's not in all the way, as expected. So it needs drill, you know, and it's a slow back and forth process to get it just right. And you can see that we're starting to get into the hollow cavity of the inside of the torso. Usually happens, it's fine. Another incentive to not go too deep. Now see there. Now we're really close. Like that magnet looks like it almost totally disappears in there. So we're going to peel one off the stack. Still in there. And I can't really show this on the camera, but I'm basically going to hold it kind of like that, but like flat because of gravity, right? And basically you want to get that magnet like in there so that you don't see any. You should get it close enough that if you take like a toothpick and you rub it over the top, that even if you had your eyes closed, you can't even feel the magnet. That's how close I like to get it. So for example, this one, it's still too tall. The hole needs to be deeper, but ever so slightly. But just nice small amounts at a time. I don't care if I have to check it 5 times. I just don't want it to be too deep. So again, I'm going to hold it up level here. Yeah, again, a little more. All right, so I did that a couple more times there, and it's very flush, very flush. So get the piece totally cleaned out there. Now, as you can see, there's kind of some holes. There isn't much plastic there, but there's enough that after we fill it with glue and let it dry, it'll all be great. So, now we're going to take our magnet installation tool. One of these days it'll be used as a real lightning claw, but so there we got our one magnet on there. Okay. Put the other magnets away, because these things love to just roll and stick to anything metal, so put those away. Alright, things you're going to want to have handy for this next step is your pin, just in case, because basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to put glue in this hole. I'm going to take my lightning claw tool here, I'm going to stick the magnet. I'm basically going to do that, and then I'm going to like push, and then I'm going to kind of slide, and there, the lightning claw drops away, the magnet's in there. Notice how I kind of put my finger in there, because otherwise, even with the glue in there, it'll just pull right out. And you know, you want to get this, the magnet installation. These magnets are so strong, you want to get the magnet installation tool far away from the piece. I mean, I can even get the magnet to stay in there by putting like the magnet. I mean, look there, it sucked it. Oh, you guys didn't see that, but basically, we have the magnet in the hole. I even get it. I mean, look, I'm even moving it here. So basically, we're going to put glue. We're going to do this. We're going to wipe it away. Now, this has happened to me before, where the magnet has so much strength that it'll actually will flip the magnet in the drill hole, and then the polarity will be wrong. And if that happens, the glue's starting to dry, and you're like, oh no. That's when again, we don't want to have to do this, but if we have to, we take our pin, and even with the magnet in there, you'll basically stick it somewhere on the side, deform the plastic, stick the pin in, get it down in there, under, and then pry up and out. But I hope that doesn't happen. But we have the pin at the ready, just in case. So let's glue it. And then one more thing, because I'm going to do all this in rapid succession, is after I get that glued in, and I have a perception that the magnet didn't flip, what I'm actually going to do here is on something hard, actually probably have to take this to the edge of the table, is to get it flush, I'll actually take this side here, with the magnet in it, and I'll actually press. I'll put it flat against something like this cutting board, and I'll actually flatly press. Maybe even drag it a little bit. And I just do that just to kind of make sure the magnet's nice and flush in there. No better way to do that than to just press it into something flat and solid. Alright, so we got a liberal amount of glue in there. right, we got the magnet in. And now to make sure we have it nice and flush, see if you guys can see that or not. Just gonna kind of press and just make sure that's, yeah. All right, and I think the process is done. As you can see, it's nice and flush in there. Just to double check, make sure we're not haven't been tricked by magnetism. Yes, it works. So now it has the same polarity as every other magnetic piece in my collection. So now our captain can have any weapon you want. In fact, hell, we can even give him Tau weapons if we wanted to. So that's it. Obviously we got to do the other side, but it's the exact same thing. Word of caution, this piece is so small, the magnetic fields are so strong, I actually would let that dry for a full 24 hours and then do the other side. You know, you just want to make sure it all goes through okay. So as you can see, I got a little bit of a gap there. The drill bit wasn't so clean. That's okay, because most of the time, in fact almost all the time, you don't even see it. It's completely covered. Alright, so that's how you do magnets on a Firstborn Marine. Alright, one more thing I forgot to mention. When you go to spray paint and everything else, a piece with a magnet or whatnot, I recommend putting a little bit of like, this is sticky tack, like the stuff you need to put like a poster up, like it's like 3M or whatever. I'll take some of this and I'll cover the magnet. See if I have a good example of that. So like these are fully painted, and I already took the goop off. You know, that way the magnet keeps a really nice shine. It just makes it obvious that it's there. You know, that's good when sometimes you don't remember. So for example, this guy, still being painted, there's a magnet under there, but that's actually sticky tack. And once I finish painting them, I'm going to pry off the sticky tack, and those are going to be nice and shiny. The magnets are going to be nice and shiny under there. So that whenever somebody plays the army, I mean, it might not be me, it might be somebody else, they'll know where is a magnet hard point and where is there not a magnet hard point.